Hello and welcome back. In this video, we will learn about 3 additional aggregate functions in MongoDB, which is limit, exist, and skip. Limit limits the number of documents passed to the next stage. For example, if we were to output everything from within the musicians table, we can limit the number of records we would like to see. Exist when a boolean is true, exist matches the documents that contain the field, including documents where the field value is null. If the boolean is false, the query returns only the documents that do not contain the field. In the example we try, you will see quickly how exist is used. And skip. This should say skip. The skip method is used for skipping the given number of documents in a query result set. It is often used with limit. Now let us combine all 3 together to see how they work together in MongoDB. In MongoDB, first let us try to find an event. Let's first do db period bands period find curly bracket. Let's look for event. And as you can recall, the event was an embedded piece of information we stored when we created the bands collection. Within events, we're searching to see, or within the bands collection, we're searching to see if any events exist. Only return those where no events exist. False. Hit enter. And we return with all of the bands where there's no embedded information. If you would like to see a clearer format of this, you can add pretty to the end of the statement. And what pretty does is it expands the results. Anything with embedded information becomes easier to read. Hit enter. And as you can see, none of these results are expanded because they have no events stored from any previous events where they have worked or provided entertainment for us. Let us try now one with limit. Now we're going to hit up, and hit enter one more time. And as you can see, these are all of the bands that were returned. But let's say we only want to see the first 3. 1, 2, 3. This is where limit comes in. Simply, we can add a period and type limit and the number of records we would like to limit the result to. In this case, we'll use a limit up to the first 3 records. Hit enter. And this time we are returned with information only about the first 3. Now, what if we wanted to include skip? What if we wanted to do hit up to get the same command and backspace? What if we wanted to limit 4 records this time? 4 records, but we wanted to skip the first 2. Add period and skip. The number 2, close in parenthesis, hit enter. And this time, we are given 4 records, but the first 2 records are not part of our return because we skipped the first 2 and we started with the valley mores. If we look at our musician collection, you can see that there's musician 1, 2. Excuse me, I meant to look at the bands collection. Looking at the bands collection, you can see that there is 2 bands and then there's Valley Moors. However, when we limit 4 and we skip 2, the first 2 will be skipped. Then we will start at this one up to 4. And this is what this query returns. Hit enter. And there you go. We have a return result of anyone who does not exist events, meaning any bands who do not have any events on record, because with the exists function we set false. If we were to change this to true, this will only return bands who have events on record, and then everything else is the same. We can limit this to 5, or we can limit this to any number we choose, and we can decide of how many records we want to skip. This is very useful when dealing with a very large database. In our case, we are working with a micro database for a very short class. Therefore, our records are limited. In the next video, we will continue writing queries. In this section, this was a brush up on some of the important aggregate functions that exist within MongoDB. But in the next video, we will continue writing queries. The queries we will focus on will be queries to retrieve information about embedded documents, such as information stored about different events that different bands performed at. I will see you then. Thank you.